If you've been following the channel, then you'll know I'm more than happy to share the bad as well as the good. In this vlog, we're going to hold back on the humble pie for once, share some of the progression, and try to showcase what training at the wave coupled with getting some credible input can do for your surfing. If you're also working on your cutback, curious as to what details are being shared by high-level coaches for the technique, and wondered how long it can take to get some tangible results, then this vlog is for you.
I'm James Davis, and I've been a skydiver for over 20 years, jumping and competing all around the world. In the last 18 months, I've been surfing at the wavepool in Bristol to see if wavepools can do for surfing what wind tunnels did for skydiving. I wanted to see what would happen if an average surfer trained at the wavepool for a year, if they could learn to get barreled, sharing all the mistakes, learning points and experiences along the way.
Okay, before we start, a quick thank you to everyone who engaged with the last vlog and shared their thoughts and opinions. It's much appreciated and great to hear so many people getting involved. It was also great to meet a few of you last week at the Wave in Bristol, share some waves together and have a chat about surfing. Graham, Miles, Stephen, Simon, Walter, Marcus and Gareth to name just a few. All the support and interaction is much appreciated, so thank you. Right, let's crack on. In my humble opinion, there are two things that are super important for progression. Number one, doing the activity as much as you can. Number two, not injecting yourself with bad information from the start, as bad habits are a nightmare to address, so getting the most credible and high-level information to base your learning on is key. Now, before any keyboard warriors start warming their fingers up and getting excited, it's pretty clear I'm not a high-level surfer with years of experience to form opinions on techniques, and I'm also not a high-level coach who coaches the top-level guys. I am, however, someone who has gone out to find these people to help my own surfing, and I'm more than happy to pass the treasure on to everyone else to enjoy too. Some final caveats are that the techniques and ideas in any sport are constantly evolving. There's rarely one way to do things, and trends come and go. So what I'm about to share is simply what the current thinking is from some very good people who've had some input into my progression. Right, now that the waiver has been said, we can get on with sharing the points that I'm currently working on and that might be useful for you too. This wave is taken from the expert turn setting, which is arguably not the best way for focusing on technique, but I wanted to run a side-by-side comparison using the same board on the same setting to try and point out the progress. I'm also going to try and point out the things that I should be doing, even if I'm not doing them perfectly now, and the next stages that I'm trying to work on. It's an ever-growing list of details, and has been amazing for my surfing, so hopefully it will be useful to a few of you too. On the left is the older session, and on the right is the later session from last week. I'll play it through once, then point out the things I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, let's start when I'm on my feet. Number one, the neutral position for coming down the wave. Both hands should be in front, chest facing forward, in a compressed, low to the board, in a kind of sprinter stance. Keen eye will see that my trailing hand can be forgotten about, and that sometimes I still leave it behind. Number two, bottom turn. Low position, trying to submerge the rail beneath the water, shoulders and eyes turning to where I want to go, eyeing up the destination for where the turn will start. Weight through the feet as a bias to the back foot to avoid bogging the board. Number three, coming out of the bottom turn and releasing the energy. The trailing arm moves back behind the surfer, with some surfers talking about scooping or pulling themselves forwards. But what moving the trailing arm back really does is generate torque for the turn. What I mean by this is when the trailing arm is swung forward at the next stage when the turn starts, it helps with the rotation of the body and the torque of the turn. It also seems to have a stability benefit, which I can always do with. Number four, the compressed position changes to an extended one, using the bottom turn energy to move up the wave to the point where the turn starts. I have to remind myself not to over amp it at this point, or push too much through the front foot, as the board will bog. Number 5. Start of the turn at the top of the wave. The rail changed to the heel side and weight now of 100% via the back foot. The position is low with the new rail engaged and weight through the back foot. The leading arm is used as a pivot whilst the trailing arm swings around like mentioned before. As mentioned in a previous vlog, it seems that it's not the arms that are really the key body dynamic to focus on, it's the direction the chest faces. And if you don't swing the trailing arm around in front, then it closes off the body rotation and prevents the turn from happening. Click the banner at the top of the screen for a little bit more information about this. Number 6. The chest rotates, and I'm thinking about trying to get it facing the white water. It's very easy just to use your eyes to look at the white water, let alone rotate the head or the upper torso. The upper torso and chest move ahead of the board rotating. Number 7. The front foot is very light on the board and just steers the board around. It's the back foot that has the weight through it and is used as the pivot in the turn. Just look at the pros like Mick Fanning or Ethan Ewing and you'll see that the front leg looks straight with hardly much weight on it. I think Cale Brock did a side-by-side comparison of his body posture with that of Kelly Slater's, pointing out this detail and how he could improve his own body mechanics in the turn. Number 8. Depending on the turn and how much a surfer really wants to rotate, the board and chest should now be facing the white water, and as you've moved through the turn, you've pushed through the back foot to accelerate it. Number 9. How much you rotate, and if the turn slash-like or a long drawn-out figure of 8, depends on many factors. There are many variations to doing a cutback, but how close you are to the white water and the shape of the wave face would be two important considerations. Number 10. The next 2 points are what I'm only just starting to think about and implement into my cutback. The trailing arm needs to keep moving across the body with both arms finishing across it, pointing to the top of the wave. The surfer needs to stay high on the wave and to leverage gravity to maintain speed when they come out the turn. Number 11. End of the turn and re-entries. Lots of different options depending on what type of cutback the surfer has just done, but the basic fundamentals are that the surfer has used all their energy during the turn and hopefully are back at the top of the wave, so the body position needs to be small and compressed to absorb the energy of the wave and the gravity to generate the speed they need as they re-enter the wave. Concisely put, stay small, look back down the line to where you want to go and pivot over the back foot. Again, if only it was that easy. You may disagree, but the turn on the right seems to have more of the points just discussed being executed. When you continue playing the waves, you'll see that I move on earlier to the next turn, I'm better balanced, and can do another turn sooner than the wave on the left, where I'm off balance at the bottom of the wave and then eventually fall over. And once again, none of these points I've discussed are my own personal ideas. These are just the points that I've been coached about and are in my mind to focus on. What's pretty cool is if you start looking at the big name surfers, you'll also start to see some of these concepts in their surfing. One of the best YouTube channels is this guy's, Dan Scott, who has some great footage of Mick Fanning, Ethan Ewing and Jack Robinson. Go check his channel out for yourself, do all the like and subscribe, and see some really nice waves being surfed for some inspiration. Clearly you can't remember more than 1 to 3 things when you're in the moment, but it does show the number of details that need addressing. The good news is that they are all core fundamentals, and that simple things like having a good body position for dropping down the wave, or wave positionings for generating speed, are useful to any surfer. It's also very clear that if you start the wave badly, then none of this information matters. You'll have to reset, waste valuable time, and most of the wave. Hence the importance of catching the wave using solid technique and my current obsession with the takeoff. Regarding the progression, I'm pretty happy with it. Clearly it's far from perfect, but having the knowledge and then the amount of waves on tap at the wave pool to go and try these details is just amazing. I thought about putting a cutback debrief and some content from Pat Bevan into this vlog, with him breaking down the front side cutback as he sees fit, but I think I'll just stick this into another video as this vlog has already gone on long enough. In the next vlog, I'm thinking of either sharing some of the Pat Bevan breakdowns on the frontside cutback, or perhaps some footage from last week's trip to the pool to show what a few sessions and back-to-back days can do for your surfing. Until then, enjoy your surfing wherever you are.